wait. I cannot wait to know where Jason Murphy is calling from this week. I've been tracking your conquering of the entire galaxy, planet to planet. Jason, where are you this week?
Well, I had to swing by and pick up a fellow galactic conqueror on Hala. Do you know what Hala is, Jeff?
That's what you say at the club, right?
Hala!
That's
No, that is the Kree homeworld, sir.
Oh, okay. That's where that Ronan the
Ronan
movie.
the Accuser.
Yeah, he hangs out there, right?
And the Kree, the blue guys, they are at war with the Skrulls, and they are led by the Supreme Intelligence.
Okay.
Found out it's kind of a Wizard of Oz thing. It was actually just this guy.
Who?
Brian Brushwood.
It's me, motherfucker.
Hey,
man.
You're the Supreme Intelligence? You're leading a whole race of people?
Yeah, dude. I lead, okay, here's the thing. Not only do I lead races, but, of all the lead racers, I'm the lead racist.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck you're going with that, man.
I probably shouldn't have phrased it that way.
I don't either. He's been doing this all goddamn day.
I mean, let me specify that it's RACEST. I don't know if that'll work in Google search, but if you look, stop. Forget I said anything. I don't belong on this planet. I'm hitching a ride back to Earth. Screw everything.
I love the way it's like you're just sitting there just digging this joke further and further down.
Yep. He's good at that.
I'm so fat. Okay, so I'm fascinated by this joke, and it's something that Justin and I toyed around with for a Night Attack track. But the idea of this hayseed who doesn't know what the word racist means, and instead he's a race car driver. So he's just like, I'll tell you what, man, all y'all racers, I'm the racist. I'm the best racist ever been. And then it's like I can ride, man, I'm a racist. I race around in circles. And then it's well, what does it mean to be a racist? And then this guy, not realizing what the word racist means, thinks he's talking about what a good driver he is. And he says, well, let me explain. There's some people who are just better than other people. And he goes on to talk about how good he is at racing his car. I'm the best racist. That's what makes me such a good racist, I understand that some people are better than others.
I feel like I'm watching Mad TV right now. I feel like I could just see it materialize in front of my face.
I was thinking more in living color.
Okay.
Dude, you're at least listening to the writer's room on both of those. Yeah. This is a live audio feed back to 1994.
Homie, don't play that.
Well, welcome everybody to the Dot Magic Memorial Podcast. We've got a lot to talk about today in video game news. There's actually a bunch of really interesting stories, but before we do, I think that we have to stop up the leaking fire hydrant of every single living human being on the planet who wants to know, what'd you guys think about Guardians of the Galaxy? Did you guys see Guardians of the Galaxy yet? There are people asking me before Guardians of the Galaxy even came out what I thought about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was like, I don't know. So, Jason, Brian, what did you guys think about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Wait. I feel like, for dramatic tension purposes, I feel like this is my only chance to inject pure sunshine and say that I loved it. From beginning to end, it was pure joy, and the only mistake the writers made is every moment that Rocket Raccoon is not on screen, everyone should be looking around going, where's Rocket? That's the only thing they should have done.
No, what Rocket Raccoon? What are you talking about? I thought it was, an injection of pure sunshine when the guy falls in love with the girl, and even though she's got cancer, and
no, you went to the wrong movie again. I told you. I gave you the ticket. I said Theater 3 at the AMC Century City, and you didn't. You saw The Fault in Our Stars.
Are you is that movie have Robert Pattinson in it? What am I thinking of?
I would know.
Where he had cancer?
I didn't go see that movie. I saw the badass one with a pro wrestler pretending to be an actor. It was amazing.
Okay. The only time a pro wrestler has done a great job.
Oh, dude, there better be one movie you're thinking of.
Predator.
Yes, Jesse Ventura.
Whoa. I ain't got time to bleed.
I ain't got time for bleed.
Excuse me.
If you say no holds barred, I will suck your dick.
Wait,
no,
what?
what I'm saying is, if there's only, are you forgetting They Live? Perhaps the greatest wrestling movie of all time.
Oh shit!
With the greatest
Goddamn!
wrestling
You
scene
were
of all
right,
time.
and we are wrong.
We just
you
got
were
owned.
right. We are wrong.
We just
yeah.
got owned by Jeff.
Man, by the way, while on vacation, Jason and I walked into a random abandoned warehouse, and we saw what looked like an entire stairwell covered in Shepard Fairey art.
Oh yeah.
And we're like, and some guy, I'm like, hey man, is this like for real Shepard Fairey shit? And he's like, yes, it definitely is. He came here. It was a big deal. This is all Shepard Fairey. He put all this up. And we're like, what? It was amazing.
It's so Obey everywhere and the giant,
Which, by the way, how on earth, like, while you're on vacation, you learn some things, right? While you're on vacation, you start to think about stuff like intellectual property and trademark rights.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of weird. How on earth did Shepard Fairey essentially grab the ownership of the likeness of Andre the Giant? How the fuck did that happen?
I'm still trying to get over the part where you said when you're on vacation, you start thinking about intellectual property rights, because that's literally the last thing that I want to do when I'm on vacation.
As one does. You go on vacation and you do stuff like take black gaffer's tape and put it over every logo of any corporate thing that you run across. Because you don't want to see that. You don't want to know if it's a Ford automobile or a Chevy automobile. You just want to cover it up with gaff tape.
Or
so you
an
don't have to
Acer
look-
laptop.
Oh my gosh, Acer laptops. Who wants to? I don't want to know. I want to live a brandless existence, and I want to look good. So I dress up and I cover shit with gaff tape.
I like the idea of you getting up every morning, Brian, and then just wrapping yourself like a mummy head to toe in gaffer's tape until people can't see just any part of it whatsoever.
Well, I mean, first of all, that would be the simpler way, right?
Right.
But then that only keeps me from seeing brands. I don't want anybody to see any brands.
It's also a very cheap Zentai suit, and I have to ask, Jeff, have you been spying on us?
No, man. No. I wouldn't pay. Don't look too closely at the corners of your hotel room on the planet Apollo.
It's like bring out the gimp. It's like, Jeff, he has a name, and it's Brian.
And then I walk out and I'm like, hi guys, I'm the giver. Fuck, hold on, let me start it again. Hi guys, I'm sorry. Shit. Okay. Hey guys, I'm the look.
This is.
I know. I should come out and I should say, "Hey guys, I'm the Gimp." Naturally, to be honest, I would come out and I would be all like, "Sup guys, I'm the Gimp." Would that be a problem if I said, "What's up guys, I'm the Gimp"? And then Jason would be this way. He'd be all like, "Well, we were talking about it before, and what we all decided you should say here on vacation is." Hi guys, I'm the Gimp. So that's what's approved. I mean, it would be better if you said that. And then I walk out and I'm like, hi guys, I'm the Gimp. And they're like, well, it's close. Fuck it. Let's just go on to the butt fucking.
Wow. I don't even. I feel liberated. I could just set you guys up with this recording and just walk away from here. Like, wow.
No, it's okay. I haven't. I honestly, today was a high watermark because I haven't understood half of the shit that he said. And at one point, he was babbling, and one of our Cree friends named Steve, not Loco Steve, one of our Cree friends, Steve, just gives me this look, and I said, "Oh my God, you broke him." Because he's been doing this all day.
It's dude, like if you guys, go ahead.
It's like Brian Brushwood you're trying to do a buffer overrun with people's literal minds. You just talk at them until their brain can't accept anymore. And then you just start programming them with your Manchurian Candidate instructions about who they're supposed to kill and when and why.
Part of the problem. Look. Okay, the reason we're over at we're at the Cree home world. That's where we are.
Halla.
Right, we're at Halla. Part of the reason is because we're also time traveling, right? And I'm coming from the future, and the version of me that you're hearing now knows what happens in the future. You're gonna see the shit that I do in the future. You're gonna fucking cum your pants off, and you're gonna be standing there naked with your limp cum-covered dick, and you're gonna be wondering how it was that Brian did all this, and you're gonna go back, you're gonna listen to this podcast, you're like, oh man, no wonder it all makes sense now.
And future Brian also does a lot of cocaine.
Okay.
Future Brian also might have gotten up at 5 in the goddamn morning today.
All right, so Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a pretty good movie, right, you guys?
I liked it. I thought it was just a little too damn silly. But the more I think about it, the more I like it.
It's sticky.
Yeah, so I want to go back and see it again, and I keep evangelizing it to people. It's sticky like the limp jizz covered dick. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes, after you saw me in the future. I'll tell you what, man. I loved it from beginning to end, and understand, like, you can't divorce a movie from the experience in which you see it. And in this case, I knew going into it that I was cashing in a favor, and I told Bonnie, I was like, don't worry, I'm going to go see it again with you. So it's like, kind of like, as I was deeply, deeply enjoying it, I was also picturing how much I'll enjoy it with Bonnie. And in fact, like, my kids usually don't do PG-13 movies, but it's like, I'm going to full on, like, train them. I'm going to, like, get ready. You're going to see some stuff. You guys are going to cry a couple times, but your dad insists that you watch this factual documentary about the universe.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the experience, you were getting a handy J from Tom Merritt, like, for like a good 20 minutes at first.
Well, and then his wife finally got into the movie and then just dropped me. I'm leaving there like a limp
so you
sausage.
had to stick with Rob Krekel.
Yeah.
One of the sound designers on Last of Us.
It was actually an amazing time. Okay, so Rob Krekel, one of the sound guys on The Last of Us, texts me saying Guardians of the Galaxy ? And so I send out a group text to Tom Merritt, my co-host on Cord Killers, and of course Jason and Rob Krekel, and I basically loudly shouting, somebody do this, I'll pay. And then luckily Rob put it all together. It was a freaking great time, and I can't thank Rob Krekel enough.
IMAX 3D.
IMAX 3D is the first time that I've ever done IMAX 3D and not felt like I was in a fucking science classroom.
It was
actually
way
worked
better.
really well.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it was when I saw it in IMAX 3D as well, and usually IMAX 3D gives me a headache, but it was like the only time that I could go see one was on an IMAX 3D, and I found that by about 10 minutes in, like, even with the amount of shit that was blowing up and things flying at the camera and going all over the place, it was like they weren't doing that whole dumbass 3D thing where they're putting things in your face the entire time. And you keep dumping it in your seat. It was just nice and subtle as a way to boost the incredible
I'll tell you
visuals.
what's weird. I'll tell you what's weird for me is I'm sitting there on the what planet was it again?
Hala.
I'm sitting there on Hala watching this factual documentary of what actually happened in the universe. And all of a sudden, like, and to be honest, this is a testament to actually how good the IMAX 3D was I was genuinely confused for a split second when an overweight Hispanic woman stood up and walked into the frame. And then I realized that this was an actual person in the first row who stood up and walked across. It was actually an amazing experience.
The Kree have actually 20% of their population are overweight Hispanic women.
Well, okay, now it makes a lot more sense in the canon.
That's why the Skrulls hate them.
Because they're racist. You hear that, Skrulls? That's right, we're calling you out.
So wait, okay, so Jason, the comic book, they don't, Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't actually have rights for the Skrulls, right?
No, that's correct. That's with Fox over with the
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so that was what the Chitauri were like. Those were the Ultimates Universe Skrull ripoff dudes or whatever.
Jesus. Basically. Okay. Yeah, well, the Chitauri were actually in the Ultimates. It was in Ultimate Avengers, but they were even different in that they were shapeshifters in Ultimate Avengers.
Right.
I mean,
but so were the Skrulls. I mean, they were filling the same niche as the Skrulls.
In
right?
fact, in Ultimate Avengers, I don't know why, or excuse me, not Ultimate Avengers, the Ultimates. I don't know why they didn't just go with the Skrulls. Beats me,
dude. I'm telling you, I guarantee you, it's because of this kind of backdoor licensing rights, where they're like, "Hey, we're going to write this timeline about the Skrulls," and then someone over in production is like, you should put gaff tape over the Skrulls and call them something else.
Yeah. Somebody out there owns the trademark copyright of Richie like chins on the movie screen. Right. You can't have that shit.
Exactly, man. And in fact, when I first saw Thanos, because I fell out during the Marvel reboot, right? I was a hardcore Marvel kid early on, but when I watched the Avengers, it was obvious to me that the button at the end was, listen to me, I'm talking like a vacationer over here. It's obvious that the button at the end was Super Skrull. And the whole world said, no, dude, that's Thanos. I'm like, who?
I had some I've told this story before. I had some dumb shit motherfucker trying to tell me that it was Red Skull. And I'm like,
All right, I'm not that dumb. All right, fuck you for even putting me in that category.
Yeah, I want to go see Guardians a few more times, but at least at this point, I'm certain that it is. I'm so goddamn glad this movie got made because I love me some space laser alien space opera shit, and this is the best space lasers movie I've seen. Maybe, and I keep going through my brain trying to figure it out, but maybe since Serenity.
Oh, dude, yes, I would definitely put it in that same category.
Yeah, greatest CG character of all time.
Okay, now here's my question, and I tried to light a fire on the internet.
Okay.
Between Caesar from Planet of the Apes and Rocket, who is the greater triumph of computer-generated characters? Because understand, 14 years ago, we had Jar Jar Binks, and the shit's different now. I guess 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's like, understand, I deeply love both of those characters, and they're different for different reasons.
You deeply love Jar Jar and...
No, yes, I fucking love shitting on him.
Okay, so we got to think. Jar Jar,
right.
Dobby,
right.
Gollum,
yep.
Caesar from Planet of the Apes, and Rocket.
Yeah, all right, screw Gollum. I didn't buy it. It was too much, too fast. He was a black and white chessboard. I didn't buy the Switch. Dobby, I could give two shits about. I'm not in. I don't believe it. Caesar, I do love. He is somebody who wants to do the right thing, but understand that he is the first of his kind. But I'll tell you what, out of all of them, Rocket is the greatest computer-generated character I've ever seen in my entire life. The mixture, not only, first of all, how realistic it was.
What about Lawnmower Man?
God damn it. But, all right, real quick. The idea of somebody who's sarcastic, brilliant, an improviser, and obviously dealing with deep rage issues and feels unfathomably alone. All of that came through with Rocket, and that is a triumph of not only computer-generated characters, but just characters in general.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. See, I've never seen Planet of the Apes, so I could tell you. I've never saw the CG Planet. I didn't see either one of the new Planet of the Apes movies.
You didn't see either one of them?
What?
No. I just.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Jeff, just hang up. Brian and I'll do it.
We're done. We're doing the rest of the podcast.
You and me, we're done professionally.
That's right.
Why?
I mean, you're a nice guy and all, but we're here on, what planet are we on again?
Hala.
We're here on Hala, and we don't have time for this shit. What team are you on, Jason?
Oh, Rocket.
Yeah. Over Caesar?
Over Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that had to do with the writing and the performance, not the technical.
God, it really is well written.
Well,
yeah.
that
It's so good.
One of the best things about Guardians was that there wasn't a single frame wasted where they weren't doing some characterization or some kind of setup or some kind of stuff. It was
in fact, it kind of moved too fast.
It was dense. It was very dense.
But it didn't feel that way. It was easy to keep up with, too. It's not like you were like, whoa, hold on for a second. The only thing that I think maybe, I was talking with Grant about this, is I thought that maybe they could have gotten rid of, what's her name? The Karen Gillan character. No.
Oh, Nebula?
Nebula. And spent,
Amy Pond.
Yes, Amy Pond, and spent a little bit more time with Ronan because, as far as I was concerned, I mean, all they did with him was they just brought this guy there. It's like, he's so angry and he's got a huge hammer and he hates everything. And
yeah,
it would have been nice to have had a little bit more characterization with him. And, you know, do we need to really have two of them Thanos bitches out there? Can't we just deal with one and then...
Ronan is actually a relatively complex character, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a devout Kree, but they just made him psychotic bad guy.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Come on, man. Come on.
No, I like the dichotomy between Nebula and Gamora. I mean, because they were both, they're both daughters of Thanos, and yet they came out on different sides of the thing.
All right, real quick, is the whole reason she's named Gamora so that we keep thinking of Sodom the whole time we're looking at her?
Is that what you were thinking?
Oh, jeez, are you kidding me? I've been on vacation a long time, Jason.
You thinking of some space kung fu anal?
All right. Well, did anything else psychotically interesting happen to either one of y'all? Because I've just been editing video and getting drunk for a week. So
gaff tape, Guardians.
I saw Godzilla. It was boring.
Oh, really?
It was boring, man. It was like, I don't give a shit about Whitey McGeneric dude and his
Whitey McGeneric. That's going to be my new family name. I'm going to change all the kids' names to McGeneric. We here at the McGeneric clan, we all have gaff tape over our eyes when we're born, so nobody can identify us.
Like there's a part in that movie where there's just on the TV and Godzilla's fighting a dude, and I want to go back to the Blu-ray and sneak into the facility and edit it so that when they cut to that scene, it's just a big middle finger coming out of the TV like, oh, did you come to Godzilla and you wanted to see Godzilla fight some shit? Tough shit. Here's a kid sitting on the couch. Human
That's
interest.
what I heard.
Yeah.
Wait, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, dude. Okay, now there is a couple of really great moments from like a pro wrestling perspective, like the finishing move that Godzilla does.
When Godzilla's looking at the camera going, I'm going to fuck you up, Tokyo. You don't know what's coming for you. It's going to be like a hurricane.
Dude, he got so into it, he just lost his earplug.
Yep.
That's amazing.
The Jason, you don't fuck around with Jason Murphy's wrestling voice, man. You got to take that shit seriously. He will own you at SummerSlam, Brian Brushwood. Don't.
I believe it. Dude, first of all, a toddler can own me at SummerSlam, but yes, I agree.
But yeah, I mean, there were even parts like at the beginning, it's like they were being all coy and shit about what was going on and what was happening. But by the third time where Godzilla's getting ready to do some throwing down, and then they cut back over to this human interest bullshit, and I was just like, you know what? What happened when I got done watching Godzilla was I was like, God damn, I want to watch Pacific Rim right now because that movie was just like.
Wait, is Pacific Rim any better? I only seen a couple of clips from Pacific Rim.
Well,
Pacific Rim is like Godzilla with training wheels and a mandatory helmet.
What? No, but Jason, we've talked about this 100 times. What exactly do you want out of a movie where giant shit is punching each other?
Do you want to know what I want?
What?
I want motherfucking Guardians of the Galaxy that doesn't waste my motherfucking time. Where it's like, here's this guy, and fucking give me a heads-up display that just says what his hit points are and what his strength and charisma are, and then just throw him in there and then go.
But see, the thing is that if Guardians of the Galaxy had been made like Godzilla, a good 2/3 of Guardians of the Galaxy would have been about some kid on Earth talking to Peter Quill through the SETI project because he hacked the internet, and then there'd just be pictures of the Rocket Raccoon flying around and doing stuff.
That might have been the wrong example because I may have force-fed all of the Martian audiobook to Jason Murphy over the last month.
But yeah, I guess I just want, when I go to see a kaiju movie, I want to see kaijus punching each other, and Godzilla did everything except that, except for about 20 minutes of the movie.
You can have kaijus punching each other and a plot that makes sense and stuff that's not incredibly dumb and acting
or at least consistent.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to say that can't be done, but can you name me one time where it has been done?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, dude. I'd hate to say it. No. Real quick, though. Like, look at it this way. Godzilla wasted a third of its movie trying to explain Godzilla to us. Fucking pull a King Kong. Be like, whatever, Magic Island, this shit's here, go.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I like Pacific Rim so much. It's because Pacific Rim
you mean specifically kaiju?
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not just movies in general, but like generally kaiju movies, you don't see. I mean, the closest example to something like Pacific Rim.
Aside from the original Godzilla, no, it hasn't been done intelligently, but even that's not fun. It's just kind of bleak and sad and a statement on, post-bomb Tokyo. But no, it just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it can't be done.
I guess.
Well, and plus,
the thing is that when I go see a movie like that about a giant thing wrecking shit up, right? I kind of want to see the giant thing wrecking shit up. Like, unless you have the most interesting human interest story in the world, like Cloverfield, about halfway through, I got tired of watching those kids avoid danger because it was just avoid danger, avoid danger.
Understand that is not an indictment of the intent for Godzilla, because if they had a good human interest story, you'd be like, that's amazing. I watched a movie about humans, and by the way, Godzilla showed up, which would be fucking rad, and is also kind of technically what they were going for, right? So the fact that they failed doesn't mean it was a bad idea.
No, see, I don't want to see that movie. I don't want to see the movie about...
Fuck you. You're fucking high as a kite. Are you crazy?
Yeah. No, Jeff has idiot tastes.
Dude, are you okay? Okay, real quick.
He likes the Transformers movies.
Okay, fuck you. You like Transformers? Look, then you and I are not friends. I'm out.
Look.
I'm going to go refill some drinks, and I may or may not come back.
He left. He left.
Is that it? He's
you did
gone?
it.
Okay, good.
He's gone.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's gone.
But
Way to go, Jeff.
look, man. Look.
He's climbing out the airlock right now.
Okay, well, let him go, Jason. You and I could talk about this real fast. He's either going to die in space or he's going to come back stronger than he ever was before with the strength of a million gamma suns. So, but in a giant monster movie, like, I have a problem with the structure of it, right? Is that when you go to see, they're going to have a trailer, right? The trailer is going to have a giant monster. It's going to be called Godzilla, King Kong, Gamera, whatever, right? You're going to go and you're going to want to see that shit happening. And so what's in between that, I don't even know if there's a level of story that you can get to that is interesting enough that it's going to make me not want to see Godzilla or King Kong or Rodan or whoever knocking shit over.
You can have both. I mean, that the fighting is like, the brawling kaiju. That's like the delicious icing. It might be the best part, but it's not the main ingredient.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I liked Pacific Rim, because they didn't spend a lot of time. I mean, they gave you cardboard cutout characters, and that was about all that I really gave a shit about, because I was just there to see shit get blowed up real good. Anyway, I think we've given everybody on Rage Select enough ammo to call me a piece of shit this week. So, shall we move?
Guys, space is really cold, and there's no air. Oh, right. Wow! I brought back these drinks, though. What's going on?
Okay.
Yeah, you can't breathe out there.
Well, and you certainly can't expect a main character to exist out in space and watch his face frost over while somehow his eyes magically can look left to right and not freeze.
Spoiler, by the way.
Yeah.
From what Brian was just saying.
Okay.
And also, I have an article that you should read about that.
Is there like a retro explanation for that shit?
Not even retro explanation. It's like, no, actually.
All right, whatever. Magic. I don't care. Guardians of the Galaxy, best movie ever. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we got a bunch of video game news to get into, and I got a lead story here that's going to piss off every single person. Did you guys read that Twitch is now integrating that bullshit from YouTube, where if you save a recording and it detects the music specifically, like, oh yeah, I wrote that because I'm this guy from home, that it will actually blank out in 30-minute segments that part of your broadcast.
It's really not appropriate for me to spill this, given contractual details, but I am bitter and angry because my original proposal to fix this did not go through, and that was to put fucking gaff tape over all of the music. It was gonna fight. Nobody would see the music. It'd be fine. It's like it'll just read as fucking blank music, whatever.
Yeah, gaff tape makes music just public domain.
I mean, that was my proposal. They didn't take it. Fuck those assholes.
Yeah, that's huge, right?
Also, I and this is no joke. I actually got a little misty-eyed that Justin TV closed. Like they sent out an email to everyone saying, "Hey guys, been a hell of a road. Here's a little montage movie of the times we've had." And I was like, "Fuck me, man." Justin TV was a big part of my whole going independent movement. And the freedom to run around with my pants off, from a copyright perspective, has been fantastic compared to, it's like YouTube is overcompensating for their Viacom shit. It's my sincere hope that sometime in the next 2 or 3 years, some kind of automatic licensing bullshit gets worked out, because just shutting it down, I think it's really stifles people.
Well, okay, so the good news is that it doesn't affect any kind of live broadcast. So live streaming on Twitch won't be policed and shut down as it's going on, which, I mean, in all honesty, like most of the XSplit and I use OBS now, both of those have functionality to save your broadcast locally. So
good.
You could cross-load that wherever.
Because Twitch also killed their archiving of live streams.
Yeah, apparently you can only do 2-hour segments, so it'll save it
highlights
for 14 to 60 days. But and then highlights under 2 hours saved indefinitely. I hate to be the guy, because I like Google and some of the shit they do, but this to me is these kinds of moves to me, they just smack so hard of back when the music industry was suing people for downloading shit off of Napster. Of like,
oh yeah,
you're just
flailing.
Yeah, you're this. Eventually, somebody with enough money and balls in Bulgaria or whatever is going to load up some kind of streaming channel that isn't beholden to our asinine copyright law.
To be honest, I hesitate to even say this. However, partly, you've seen a shift in the live streaming arena away from CDN streaming to this to something that scales better, which is why all of a sudden, like, Google Hangouts have a 30-second lag between what you do and it showing up on the screen, which is fine for most people. However, when you interact with the chat room, or if you're playing a game and you have the chat on screen, that's a problem. And it's a huge problem for Twitch. They got a 15 to 20-second lag.
Yep.
It's so bad now that we took on Night Attack some of our Patreon money and bought a year's worth of a service called MetaCDN that's run out of freaking Turkey that basically is like whatever. So it's like part of what we're buying. It's weird. It's like a protection racket. It's like we are buying the ability to opt out of all of these kind of automatic shutdown situations. And I know it's got to be a temporary thing. There's no way we'll stick with it. But I don't know. It kills me that this is the only option, is to essentially take shit outside of the United States in order to reach our audience.
Yeah, and another, I mean, like, the other problem that I have, especially with this, is that the way that they've integrated this with the when you get your copyright strike or whatever is so far.
Oh shit, they have strikes?
Well, it's not a strike thing, but if they detect, like, the thing is that they're muting 30 minutes worth of audio when they detect that your shit
per violation. Yeah. So like you have let's say you want to play that hilarious Jurassic Park melodica cover,
right,
because it has 10 seconds of the audio from Jurassic Park leading up to it.
Yeah.
It will flag you, and then that whole 30-minute chunk is just flagged.
Right. And so, I mean, at least on YouTube, you could say, like, all right, I acknowledge this is EA's game. You guys can have all my money. I'm making money in other ways. Like, that's at least what I do, is that I don't get super hung up on copyright stuff on YouTube, because, they can always... We make so little off of our YouTube because we're not a huge channel that we get our money in other ways, and so it isn't a big deal. But just turning off the audio for that long, like, the problem that I have with this is that the proposed solution from them is just like, well, just turn the music off in every game that you're going to stream.
Fuck you.
But if you like project that out into the future, it's like, okay, so we're all just going to start turning off all the music for every game we're ever going to play online for fear of this bullshit. Well, then the exact people who are trying to benefit from these copyright violations would eventually find themselves out of a job, because we've all just gotten used to playing games with no fucking music in it because they're so draconian about shutting down the music. I mean, like...
Yeah, in the future, everyone will be streaming on Twitch.
Or better yet, or worse yet, like, for example, you've already seen this on some, for example, like Supernatural, when they were showing it on the WB or the CN, or I don't know,
CW,
whatever. Fuck that fucking shit.
It's a great show.
I don't know. I put black gaff tape over it. I can't see it. So they when they were live, they would have, like, a big part of their story writing always involved, like, and then cut to AC/DC, play some Jethro Tull, here's some Pink Floyd or whatever, play a bunch of classic rock. But then they didn't have the rights to that music when it came to long-term, like, Netflix shit. So they went back and fucking put in, like, shitty, fucking fake prog rock shit.
Like sound-alikes.
Yes, exactly. Fuck that, man. And it's like, it's a shittier show for having done it. They did not get to say the things that the writers wanted to say. They undid it. They fucking painted a Hitler mustache on the Mona fucking Lisa.
Yes, I
agree.
agree.
On that, I'm out. I've made my stand.
Okay, now he's done.
I'm gonna fucking cover myself in black gaff tape, and I'm gonna fucking jump out the airlock. So long, motherfuckers!
All right. Brian, always a pleasure. Good night. So yeah, Jason, do you have any... I feel like both Brian and I were just screaming our heads off during this. I mean,
yeah, no, it's funny because you've got these consoles that are embracing Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
and really distributing it to the masses where you don't have to have any extra gear. You just have a next-gen system, and bam, you can put your experience in the hands of complete strangers. You can build your audience and everything. But now they're like, well, yeah, we realize that, but it's got to be, we're going to make it, we're going to hobble it. We're going to cripple it.
It's you know what it is? It's just the same. What pisses me off about this stuff is that when I look at this, all I see is the same attitude, the same bullshit attitude that we've seen for a long time, where you've got an organization where, okay, let's be real super clear about this. Like, Rage Select couldn't even have existed in a certain time period, right? Like, we had to be at a point when Let's Plays were a thing and people were interested in tuning into that and they were interested in watching it, right? And now, like you said, they're encouraging everybody to do this. Is becoming very much the way that games are getting seen by other people. I mean, when Aaron is over here, like the day that the games come out on Tuesday, he's over here, I'm setting up, he's just on Twitch watching whatever game we're going to play because there's a billion streams of everybody. We only do it once a week because I like to, spend a little bit more time with our shit, but trying to hobble this stuff is just, it feels so much like every single time quotey fingers corporate America is like, well, you got to put a stop to this. It's like, no, it's already here. Like, if you were going to put a stop to this, you needed to buy and shut down Justin TV and Ustream 5 to 10 years ago, not now. You need to be suing Giant Bomb and everybody who's doing Let's Plays and PewDiePie and all those guys. You need to be doing that a long time ago, because there's no putting that shit back in now.
Yeah, and Twitch, own it. Own what you are. You can't sit there and make the best goddamn corn dogs in the industry and then decide, yeah, you know what, we're still going to keep making corn dogs, but we're not going to use weenies anymore. We're going to put apples in there.
I think that what's happening here is that Twitch is basically doing this so that they can get bought by Google, so the people who work for Twitch can all get their payout and go on their merry way.
That is, I've read that theory before.
Yeah, I don't think that's a stretch. I don't think that's like revolutionary thinking on my part or anything. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's happening. And the problem with all this shit is that eventually what happens is somebody else pops up that does it the way that Twitch used to. Everybody moves over there, Twitch, and then Twitch becomes worthless. And congratulations, you just paid $1 billion for a worthless company.
Yeah.
Speaking of completely and totally worthless, that's kind of mean. I shouldn't say that. Mass Effects.
Are we going to talk about Grant?
Yeah. No. Casey Hudson is leaving BioWare.
Who's Casey Hudson?
Casey Hudson was executive producer on the Mass Effect series. I think that he was actually, like, okay, I don't know if you remember this, but back when the whole Mass Effect 3 bullshit was happening, like one of the main writers for Mass Effect left after 2, and Casey Hudson, as far as I remember from reading this stuff, was credited as one of the major writers for Mass Effect 3, and I think he had something to do with Dragon Age 2 as well. There are a lot of the people who have now gone anti-BioWare who are just like, fuck that guy, he fucked it all up, it was all going great.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you were in charge of Mass Effect 3 and Dragon Age 2, good riddance.
Yeah, at a certain point, though, I mean, like, I often wonder to this day if some of that stuff wasn't, it wasn't like this guy was like, yeah, you know what I really want to do is I want to do, like, I almost get the impression that the guy who was writing Mass Effect, that was writing it towards a conclusion, Casey Hudson had to take over and he had to finish it, and he was like, how can I finish this? I want to do this crazy mind fuck thing at the end of the game. But then the corporate suits came in and told him exactly how he had to write it. I don't know. I do know that it says,
seems like the glory days of BioWare are over.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see with I don't know, man. Inquisition looks pretty hot. I don't know.
Yeah, because when something looks pretty hot in the trailers, it's never turned out to be a steaming pile of shit. That just doesn't happen.
Well, yeah. Let's see. Okay, no, he wasn't in charge of. He wasn't on Dragon Age. Let's see. He's just listing in games here: Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Jade Empire, KOTOR, Neverwinter Nights, Baldur's Gate 2, and MDK 2. What?
I forgot about MDK. Holy shit.
He was actually the director on all 3 of the Mass Effect games. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, he knows what he's doing.
yeah, I think that I just remember his name because when Mass Effect 3 came out, there was a lot of people were kind of pinning the blame squarely on him, but I always got the impression there was more going on there than just that. But he's moving out, and Aaron Flynn, that's the studio manager, says that he was leaving, and he says, quote, "While I feel that the time has come, this is without a doubt the most difficult decision of my career. BioWare is a magical place today as it was when I started. The projects we're working on are some of the most exciting and prestigious in the world. The talents in our teams are, and then he just goes on to suck BioWare's dick for a few sentences. Says, I'm leaving. So, all right. Let's see. Next up, file this one, Jason, under, all right. Looks like they're restarting the fires under making that Dead Island movie that everybody's so looking forward to.
What?
Yep.
Who gives a fuck? Really? Okay, you know what Dead Island is? Dead Island is Lucio Fulci's Zombie, but not done nearly as well. It's like, oh, we go to this tropical island and then zombies. Okay. Do you give a flying fuck about any of those characters where you want to see them up on the big screen?
Yes.
I'm going to answer. You do? What?
Okay.
What?
You're not thinking clearly, Jason. Are you telling me that you don't want to see Sam B from Dead Island, who do you voodoo, bitch, like punching zombies in the face with an electric piece of rebar?
No, I don't give a shit. I want to see me and you in Dead Island in a Jeep just driving around running everybody over and seeing how far we can go out into the ocean.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Which is what we did.
That's pretty much exactly what we did. Yeah, okay, so Deep Silver has partnered with Occupant Entertainment, which sounds like one of those. Does that name ring a bell to you, Jason? That sounds like one of those.
No, but I bet Uwe Boll has got his stink on it somewhere.
Let's see. Occupant Entertainment, production company. Ooh, Madame Bovary, Behind the Mask, The Keyman, Peep World, Screen Saviors, The Whackness. That's the only one of those.
Oh, The Whackness was good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Whackness was good.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
But everything else, I don't know. I'm gonna put it out there right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold the envelope to my head like the Amazing Kreskin, and I'm gonna say, movies that you should never watch.
You know, actually, it's funny because I'm looking through the IMDb for all of the stuff from Occupant Entertainment, and some of it's a little bit low, but none of it is below 5 stars so far on IMDb.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, as far as IMDb goes, there's one called Behind the Mask where it looks like it's a documentary about
the rise of Leslie Vernon?
No.
No. No. Oh, Behind the Mask, is it a I'm sorry. You talk. You talk.
It's a documentary about sports mascots. But 7.5.
Well, that sounds fucking stupid.
Well, yeah.
No, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon is a great unknown horror film.
I watched that. I remember you telling me about that. That was a really good unknown horror movie.
Fucking cool.
But
yeah, this isn't it.
I guess the thing is that nowadays you better tell me something when you announce a zombie movie that is more than just we're going to make a zombie movie because
yeah, who cares?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe if it's
I don't care. Dead Island? What? How is that special? Because they're on an island? Who gives a fuck? Not me.
Well,
just enough with the zombies. Do something different, or you better be damn sure that it is going to be the greatest fucking zombie movie ever made.
Right.
And here's the thing. It's not going to be.
Nope.
So do something really different. Here's the thing. It's not going to be. So stop making zombie movies.
Wow, you're sassy this week, Jason. You just got all.
I'm like 3 Arnold O'Palmers in.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, speaking of sassiness, I would like to say before we start this, these people can go fuck themselves. So,
okay.
All right. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
A California class action lawsuit alleges Sony Computer Entertainment of America engaged in deceptive marketing of Killzone Shadowfall for the PS4 when it advertised the game running in 1080p. This is from the Joystick article. After launch, Digital Foundry found that the multiplayer portion of Shadowfall runs an upscaled 960 by 1080 resolution, a step below 1080, and a law firm, Edelson PC, and plaintiff Douglas Ladore see a case there. They are suing for damages in the order of $5 million because the multiplayer component of Killzone was not quotey fingers 1080p. It was slightly less and then upscaled.
Oh, what a waste of time and an abuse of the legal system. You just found some sort of discrepancy, some little chink in the armor, and you decided to shove your lawyer's dick into it.
Yep. Congratulations. You are what is wrong with mankind, Douglas Ledore. You are a piece of human refuse. You should go fuck yourself and get the fuck out of my hobby because as an ambassador, as the supreme judge of all video games, I say you can no longer play them. Fuck off.
Yeah, and you know, okay, Sony or whoever should not have said, hey, 1080p. They shouldn't have said that. They should have.
But see, the thing is that I'm pretty sure that the game is 1080p in single player. So what are they supposed to say?
But not the multiplayer.
It's 1080p, except the multiplayer, where it's 960 by 1080 and has been up-resed. Like, I think that there's a place where you say 1080p, like, are we really to a point in humankind where, like, if it was SD, if it was 640 by 480, and then they blew it up to 1080p, okay, that's something to get upset about. But if they say this is 1080p and nobody can really even tell unless you're Digital Foundry counting fucking pixels on the screen and doing math and shit, who cares if it looks good? I played it, it looks fine. Like,
yeah, precisely.
Like, this is the thing is, I mean, you know, next thing you know, it's going to be you go to the shoe store, the guy measures your foot, he's like, you need a 12 and a half. Then it's like, I needed a 13, I will sue you for $1 million. I don't know.
Yeah, it's, God, this fucking litigious environment that we have fostered. It's this petri dish full of just bacteria and sharks. It's horrible, and it's ruining everything, and everyone laughs at the ridiculous disclaimers that some commercials or contests or whatever have, right. Like not valid in this state and only if you're a non-diabetic and are of Inuit descent and blah 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 blah. And everyone's like, wow, did they really have to say that? Yeah, they did, because assholes like this guy will sit there and say, oh, I think I can sue you now. Yeah. I think I can sue you. Yeah, fuck them. God.
Yep.
There are so many other games that you should sue aside from Killzone. Killzone was just bland and whatever. You know, sue Dive Kick.
Yeah. Let's see. No, don't sue Dive Kick. That's fine. Those guys are. That's fine.
No, sue them into the fucking Stone Age.
Did not appear to be rendering it in 1080p. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay, so this same law firm has also brought suits against Zynga for Farmville information leaks, and Sega and Gearbox for Aliens Colonial Marines poor quality, and
well, maybe they're not all bad,
and EA for not providing Battlefield 1943 with new copies of Battlefield 3. So these are like those. Okay, so this law firm is like those fucking trademark squatting assholes who just
Yeah, they're trolls.
Okay, they're legal trolls.
Although they're kind of right about the Aliens Colonial Marines thing.
I don't think you can sue somebody for just making shitty shit.
I think you should be able to. I think you should be able to sue Randy Pitchford, and a judge says, "All right, he needs to be eaten alive by fucking beetles."
Dude, we don't want to go down the road where when people don't like you, they can sue you, because plenty of people watch RageSelect.com. I think we would be seeing a subpoena pretty soon.
Everybody likes me, Jeff. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm a national treasure.
Yeah, it's not you that I'm worried about. It's me, motherfucker.
Oh, well, fuck you. I don't care.
I can't believe that you passed that power up. Anyway, all right. So now we have we have a few stories here that are about new and upcoming things. And the first one is, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I'd kind of forgotten that this was happening. But, Ubisoft said that they are having a separate Assassin's Creed game for the 360 and PS3 this year. So
What?
It's not, I remember reading this a while back, but once you get these new consoles, you get all fucking hoity-toity. You're sitting on your Iron Throne, and you're just like, yeah, I don't need the Xbox anymore. But
once I hooked up the PS4, once I got it running, I went out and found this homeless guy, and I just kicked him right in the nuts.
That's not really.
So I was like, look how much better I am than you.
No, you're supposed to take your PS3 and give it to a homeless person, not just kick a homeless person in the nuts.
Fuck that. And the PS4 is not reverse compatible. Why would I do that? It's stupid.
Okay. Well, did you see there's a reveal trailer that came out for Assassin's Creed Rogue?
Oh, no. I saw something about this, but I didn't read the article.
Okay. It seems pretty cool. It's just this dude. He's walking. There's a bunch of fire behind him. He's talking to, he's spitting the normal Assassin's Creed, like, I'll make my own creed and path. And he has a brogue. He has an accent. And it looks like this is set between, the story takes place during the 7 Years' War. It takes place in between Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag as a piece of that arc. So this is cool because it sounds like this particular storyline is going to have a lot of merit all on its own instead of just being the shitty version of Unity for people who don't have a new console. Kind of like Black Flag was, when we had to play it on the 360 and stuff.
God, how many people do they have developing these games?
Oh, have you ever watched...
That they have the luxury to do this.
You should watch the end credits for an Assassin's Creed game sometime because they go on for fucking ever.
I got shit to do. I can't... No.
But there's some screenshots that came out. We got looks like they're bringing back the naval combat. But there's a screenshot of this dude's ship, and it's going through it's got like an icebreaker on the front of it. Looks pretty cool. It's got 18th century New York, the Appalachian River Valley, and the North Atlantic Ocean. I don't know. This looks pretty cool. Like, I just hope that it's not just Black Flag with a coat of paint on it, which I probably think it's going to be, but I don't know. I watched the trailer. I like the dude that they've got in here, the new assassin/Templar guy.
Totally new dude. What's he like?
He seems very grim and determined. Like in the trailer, okay, so go watch it, but in the trailer he's talking about basically how he's going to have to throw away all of his stuff, and he's got just like leather armor with a hood on, and he pulls back the hood and he walks up to one of these guys in the assassin white outfit on the ground, and then just pulls his big gun off of his back and shoots dude in the face, and then it's like Assassin's Creed
nice.
Rogue. It sounds like it's an ex-assassin who's either going Templar, or what I would love more than anything is if we had an Assassin's game that was like Black Flag, except a little bit. I still have some problems with the main character in Black Flag. I would like to see a game with a really, really strong main character who has a strong thrust in his own values. So I don't know. It seems like it'd be cool.
I think they need some like a happy-go-lucky assassin, like somebody who apologizes after he stabs someone in the throat. I'm sorry. I was paid a lot of money to do this. I'm sorry.
So kind of like Peter Quill, the assassin.
Yes.
All right. Next up, I know there was some, so Jason, back when we did our E3 podcast, there was some podcast where people would come into the comments and they'd be like, you are intentionally disseminating misinformation to people about these video games. And I was
Wait,
like,
somebody told us this?
No, they tell me that. They say
no.
They accuse me all the time of misinformation, and what they don't realize is that misinformation is intentionally bad. Like, I'm intentionally telling you, you know 2 + 2 is 5, right? Like, you know that, right? As opposed to when you're just stupid and you can't be bothered to read 10,000 NeoGAF threads to know every little detail of some shit. And one of those things I think they were talking about was No Man's Sky. So we were talking about No Man's Sky and how it's not going to be a totally a PS4 console exclusive. Well, last week a little bit we had a confirmation that after the PS4 launch, No Man's Sky is getting a PC release because apparently one of their developers made something where he said that they wanted the game to feel very console like. And then, of course, all the PC Master Race people got their panties all bunched up. Is it I was watching.
You mean those 6 guys?
No, dude, there's so many of them.
I know. There really are a lot.
And I don't understand why they're so pissed off about consoles. Like,
yeah, dude, that's the thing is that it's like consoles and PC are different. It's like, if you can afford to have allegiances on both sides, then do it, right? I mean, and chances are, if you've got a PC that's able to run a new PC game, you can afford a couple of $100 on a console. Now, I'm not okay. Maybe that's a stretch. I'm not swimming in cash. I only have a PS4. I don't have a good PC. I don't have an Xbox One.
Right.
But really, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Stop taking sides on this and allegiances and everything, and stop being to quote my friend Brian Brushwood, stop being a racist.
Yeah, so the takeaway from this, we still don't have a release date on No Man's Sky, but it is coming. It's been confirmed. Launch on the PS4, probably a few months down the line after that, launch on the PC, which I think is fine. And let's see. Next up, I don't know if you saw this, Jason, and this is a weird one. I don't know how I feel about this because Capcom is really starting to get on my fucking nerves. With their
okay.
Well, so we had a story a few days ago. Capcom's remaking the Resident Evil franchise for the new consoles.
Yeah, didn't they already remake Resident Evil recently?
Let's see. They remade it for the GameCube, I believe.
Okay, well, I guess. Okay, fine. I mean, I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. They've been putting out. Okay, listen. They've been putting out Resident Evil for. I mean, they've been putting out Resident Evil 4 on anything they can put Resident Evil 4 out on.
Because Resident Evil 4 is awesome.
Sure, absolutely. But they just, they had an HD version of it for the PC, and I think they released a second HD version of it a little while back. Yeah, I don't know. But okay, so GameCube remake in 2002, they redid it with all the GameCube stuff, and I think that the story said that they were kind of using that as a base to remake it again for the Xbox One and the PS4. Full 1080p, 5.1 surround. You could set it to traditional tank controls if you're some kind of weirdo fucking masochist, or play it with legitimate human controls.
If you hate yourself, play it with tank controls.
I just, it's funny how maybe I'm trying to think if the movies are kind of like this, but I'm okay. This is the beginning. I'm going to mark this day as the beginning of Jeff is starting to get fucking burned out on, hey, we're going to put this out on the PS4, this game you've already played a couple hundred times, because
it seems like that's diminishing returns, right?
Well, it seems like everybody's kind of rushing to get some shit out there right now while there's still not as many AAA first generation games coming out. They're scrambling to get some shit out there that people can go buy at the store.
See, I am totally okay with seeing new games given a fresh coat of paint, usually, not always, but usually without changing the mechanic.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do a new Galaga, but make it look really pretty, or whatever. And if that's what they're doing with Resident Evil, then okay. But there are only so many times you can go to that well before the pussy gets all dried up and sore.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at this point, I have played the original Resident Evil enough times that it's I already know what's going to happen. Jill Sandwich, Master of Unlocking, Barry Burton. Oh, Albert Wesker. He's a good guy, right? He's the team leader for STARS. I'm sure nothing bad will happen with that. Let's trust him to go off and do his thing. It's like, God damn it, you guys, you put out the sixth of these games a couple years ago, and Resident Evil 1 has been remade at least once. Okay, so original Resident Evil, GameCube Resident Evil, Raccoon City Chronicles on the Wii, and I'm pretty sure that they put it out on the DS at one point. Windows, yep. So I just don't know how many more times I want to play Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you maybe give Resident Evil a rest?
Or
give it a little bit of a rest and then come back strong.
Or maybe instead of remaking the original Resident Evil, how about this, you guys? If you really don't have any ideas left, why don't you do a reboot of the franchise and try to straighten out some of this bullshit and start it over, create a new version of it for the next generation consoles, and go get some of your old talent back to work on it. Maybe bring in like Suda51 to be like your weirdo, James Gunn.
Calm down.
Okay.
You're going too far, Jeff.
Or you know what? Maybe okay, Jason, how about this? Maybe go hire the guys over at Red Barrels who made Outlast to consult with you about how to actually make a horror game. Maybe
That's better.
Go find the motherfucker that made Slender the Arrival and give him money until he will come make you a Resident Evil game that's legitimately scary.
Yeah, reboot it. There's nothing wrong with that. Movies do it all the time. Yeah. Reboot the franchise. Devil May Cry did it. A lot of people got pissed off. I thought it was just fine.
Yeah, well, it didn't actually sell very well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's the most important thing, really.
So I'll just right along the lines of putting shit out once again for the Xbox and the PlayStation 4. I mean, I guess there's a certain rationale now that I think about it in like some of these games that had a PC release, right? Where you could jack all the settings up on the PC and they looked really, really fantastic, about at least just giving people the opportunity to get those, as is the case with this definitive edition of Sleeping Dogs that they're putting out for the Xbox One and the PS4. That makes a certain amount of sense. Going back and remaking Resident Evil exactly as it was from the ground up, if that's what they're even doing, makes less sense to me. But
yeah, if you want to completely rebuild Resident Evil, that makes a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. But if you just want to put a fresh coat of paint on it and then shove it out into the world, that's gonna smack of a blatant cash grab.
Yep. But the point of that segue was that they are putting out Sleeping Dogs on the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yes, and I'm curious. I like Sleeping Dogs quite a bit.
Well, the big kind of draw here is I'm sure they're going to be selling them for $60 a pop, but that they're putting in, I believe, all of the DLC, which was like, according to the story, like $85 worth of release DLC for the game.
That's a lot.
So if you never, I mean, I guess that's the one good thing about this is that if you never played a game like Sleeping Dogs, now you're essentially getting like the Game of the Year edition with a revamped. It looks all pretty and shit. So
yeah, and Sleeping Dogs is totally worth it.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs is totally worth it. And that's all the stories that we have except for one. So, Jason, how people are constantly asking us on this show and in the street and in line at Subway and shit like that,
fuck you. It's a birth defect, okay? Wait, is that not that's not what they're asking?
No, they're asking you, what are you most looking forward to in 2015? And you keep saying the names of games that are in 2014, I'm sorry. And you keep saying the names of games that have now been pushed to 2015. And guess what? One more has been added to that list. We take a guess?
I don't know. What is it?
Evolve. Evolve has been pushed back to February of 2015 from October of this year.
Not a terrible surprise. Not a big surprise.
Well, they just launched some kind of closed beta a couple weeks ago. Which unfortunately you can't do Let's Plays of. They've got embargoes for that shit. But they just keep chiseling down the motherfucking shit that I'm going to be able to play this year.
Yeah. So what is the one in 2014 that you're looking forward to playing?
Let's see. We've gone over this about a million times, but let me go down the list.
We have.
Because I've actually got the release list right here. So let me tell you the things that are still coming out that I'm really looking forward to playing. And I'm going to go from November reverse chronological order back up to today. Okay.
Okay.
Far Cry 4.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Dragon Age Inquisition. After last week's trailer, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for sure. Sunset Overdrive, Lords of the Fallen, Assassin's Creed Unity, Evil Within, but fuck that, Alien Isolation, Shadow of Mordor. Is that? No, that's not one. And that's all the way up to September. Destiny. So those are the big ones.
It's a close race for me, but I'm gonna have to go with Far Cry 4 because you get to ride an elephant, and I'm assuming you get to trample people with an elephant, and I've kind of wanted to do that since I was like 9 years old.
Well, you know that in I think it's like in 2 weeks, right? Diablo 3 for the PS4 and Xbox One comes out with the DLC in it.
What?
Yeah.
How much is that going to be? Because
probably $60.
Okay, I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to do it because Allison and I, that's one of our things. You know, we sit around and we just play through the Diablo campaign over and over and over and over. And they're going to have cross-platform saving soon.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, so I think that if I'm not mistaken, when I was reading that, I know that they said that you can go from like the PC, but you may be able to just transfer your characters over directly onto your PS4 edition.
Yeah, well, will I be able to transfer my characters from the Xbox 360 to the PS4?
I think so.
I wonder.
Because it's all just going through the
Battle.net.
Yeah, Battle.net cloud. So I think...
Oh, that would be great!
I don't know for sure, but I think... so here's some of the things that I left out that are coming out. We've got the later on this month, we've got the infamous First Light DLC, the Metro re-release of Metro 2033 and Last Light for the PS4 is coming out. Let's see... Dead Rising, that's Dead Rising 3 for PC. Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U. Forza Horizon 2, Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers. There are a lot of people looking forward to Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them, but I want to acknowledge that Smash Brothers has a fan base that is rabid on the level of like 28 Days Later.
Yeah, and like that's something that's worth noting is that like the things that I listed off are the things that I am most looking forward to. I'm going to play Smash Brothers. And if Smash Brothers is fun, I'll probably end up loving Smash Brothers because I don't,
you're going to have to play that with Aaron because I don't want no part of that shit.
I think I'm going to play it with both of you because...
what? Fuck you. No.
Aaron doesn't want any part of that shit either. So
really?
If one must suffer, all must suffer. Yes.
Fine.
Borderlands, the pre-sequel. That Shadowgate remake we were talking about. Civilization Beyond Earth in October. WWE 2K15, which I will be playing with Aaron. The Crew should be out before the year is out.
Ooh, The Crew. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Persona Q.
The Crew was fun when I played it at E3 last year.
Yeah. And that is it. So Evolve pushed back to next year. Fuck you guys. I was looking forward to playing that game this year. It looked real fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got emails from you, the listeners, asking us for all sorts of life advice, and we're going to answer those emails. So stay tuned, everybody. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time. It's that time. It's time for the Inquisition, Jason. It's time that the people ask us the questions and we dispense the pearls of wisdom to them. I'm just out of steam on that one. So.
Bring your questions unto me, children. Bring them to me. I will guide you down the path of righteousness.
Okay, yes.
Bring them to me.
You should probably listen to everything that Jason says, and if you do any of it, I will not be held specifically responsible. So.
They already know this by now. They should.
Well, some of them don't tune into every podcast, so, I got to put the disclaimer out there. I got to leave.
My wisdom is fully erect.
Okay. All right. Well, that's as good a place to start as any. This first one comes in from our friend Beta Ray Brace, who says, "Greetings, Murphman and his faithful comrade Jeff at Arms." Wait, I'm the faithful. Am I the sidekick in this thing?
According to Ryan, you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to think of us more as like a world's finest Batman, Superman type thing.
I'm Batman.
Okay, that's fine. You can be Batman. My question is inspired by the soon-to-be-released Sin City 2. It got me thinking about Frank Miller, a man once touted as a boy genius in the realm of comic writers, with runs on Daredevil and Batman that define the characters and are still fantastic reads to this day. But today he's considered an absolute joke of a writer. So I ask you, what are your most memorable fall from grace examples of creators? Personally, mine would be David Cronenberg. He's made what I have found to be some of the best and most imaginative movies that I've ever seen, but holy shit, I've never walked out of a movie, but nothing tested my resolve not to more than Cosmopolis. I nearly clawed my own eyes out. Kindest regards from north of the states. Beta Ray Brace. P.S. Since I'll be in Austin this year for Fantastic Fest, I offered to buy Jason a drink, and I want to extend the same offer to Mr. Jeff. Yeah, I'll drink. I don't have any problems with that.
I am a huge Cronenberg fan. He's probably my favorite filmmaker. Mm-hmm. But I have not seen Cosmopolis. I have not seen the one he did about Freud and the Jung. I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of his horror output. But the biggest fall from grace of creative types that I can think of is John Carpenter.
Really?
Yeah, the guy hasn't made a good movie in like 20 years. In fact, he's hardly made any movies in 20 years. His last good movie was In the Mouth of Madness back in like, 94, 93, something like that?
Okay, wait, whoa. Are you telling me that you're not down with Ghosts of Mars, Jason?
Oh, God, Ghosts of Mars was the stinkiest pile of shit. And, okay. I will admit I have not seen The Ward. Okay. I believe it's free on Netflix. Well, free with a subscription or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, I hear it's not good. It's not good. And John Carpenter, he's one of the greats, man. He's a titan. Halloween, They Live, Prince of Darkness, The Fog, Big Trouble in Little China, all of it. Just brilliant. But you know, all of the old gods die. Every one of them. No one is consistently great forever. No one. And that's just the sad fact of things. Nothing gold can stay, pony boy. Nothing gold can stay.
God, I fucking hate that book so much.
It's a great book. You're stupid.
Well, I hate how much it's lauded as this. Like, I guess when I read The Outsiders, I was just like, and what was I supposed to learn from that? Nothing gold can stay. That the world changes. Like, it's one of those movies. Like, what was that movie? God, there's been a whole bunch of them. What was that movie that won the Oscar one year? Was it Crash? That was all like, we're all interconnected. I don't know if you knew this. It's like
not David Cronenberg's Crash.
No, which I enjoyed David Cronenberg's Crash. It's not as good as the book. The book is actually really, really good.
I've never read the book.
It's who's it? God damn, who is it? It's all right. I'm gonna look it up while I say my answer. So my answer is not necessarily a specific person. It is a company. And it is a company that had such a dramatic turn from being the best to being garbage. And it happened so fast that it was almost incomprehensible to my young mind. And that
Who
was
is it, Jeff?
LucasArts. Because goddamn, LucasArts used to put out every single game they put out. Even Yoda Adventures had some merit for what it was. And then suddenly...
Yeah, Yoda Adventures was cool for what it was.
Yeah. And then just like suddenly, out of nowhere... I mean,
Force Commander.
Well, yeah, I look at Star Wars Obi-Wan as the first one. But that might have been sour grapes because I was super, super hyped about that game. And it was actually in development for the PC, and then they were like, oh no, this is going to be an Xbox exclusive. We're talking original Xbox exclusive. But yeah, they just went, I feel like they, along with George Lucas. Like there was a time when both George Lucas and LucasArts, it was just like, all right, I like all the stuff that you're making. It's great, and then suddenly it's just like it all went completely berserk, and I was just like, oh, this is terrible. All this is terrible. Why is all this so goddamn terrible?
I think we can all agree that the last great game that LucasArts made was Super Bombad Racing.
No, we can't agree on that. It's a terrible game. I even have somewhere, I have it's a CD that has a copy of Star Wars Starfighter on it, and written on it in black Sharpie is, God, this game is garbage.
Dude, I played the shit out of Starfighter.
Starfighter is garbage.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought it was terrible.
Maybe because I had just gotten like a giant 65-inch screen television.
Yeah.
And so I would sit really close to it.
Yeah.
And play Starfighter on the GameCube. And that probably mitigated a bunch of the awfulness.
Okay, I think the first one in the list, the first one that I think is really the beginning of the end is Masters of Terras Kasi.
Oh.
1998.
Okay. that one was, in theory, there's a good idea there, but in execution, there's hey, let's take all of the Jews and put them in an oven idea. It's that bad. That's how horrible of an idea it is.
Yeah, and they started. I mean, and I'm not saying that like everything that they put out.
That was LucasArts Holocaust. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yes, I got the subtle nuances of your metaphor there while you were spitting it out.
I was trying to be delicate about it.
But I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that like that after that time period that everything they made was garbage. But it used to be that it was just like they were any other publisher.
Everything.
Yeah. Before that, I mean, it was just like, what is it? Is it have Luca? Yeah, sure. I'll fucking play it. I'll play whatever it is. I don't give a fuck. I'll play Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe. I'll play, Day of the Tentacle, Sam & Max, Full Throttle, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, even Rebel Assault, as crappy as a game as that is now. Like, when it came out, it was just like, oh my God, I've never seen anything that looks this good before.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, that's my fall from grace. J.G. Ballard is the author of Crash. Really good book. J.G. Ballard actually did a couple of really interesting stories. All right, our next one comes in from Patrick. Patrick says, "Greetings, fellas. Personally, I play just about every sports game that comes out every year. Madden, NBA 2K, MLB The Show, FIFA, NHL. Yes, those are all of them. Because I am such a huge sports nerd. Yes, we exist and also love Batman. So my question is, do you guys watch any sports / play any sports games? The early titles can be repetitive, but how does that make it any different than the constant Call of Duty games? You guys should check out some more third-party sports games like the old NFL Blitz games, just straight-up violence, basically no football, or NBA Jam, dunk on everyone from 50 feet away. Patrick."
No.
Well, also, okay, I gotta tell you, the subject line for this email was sports games, and then in all caps, "I dare you not to skip." Like, I was gonna read this and just go, sports games.
No, I've never been into sports video games, unfortunately. I feel compelled to cover them on Rage Select. But I don't watch any sports on television because my wife would divorce me. Sure. And I don't play any sports video games. It's, I've always been curious about Blood Bowl though, because it's like, oh yeah, okay, they're technically they're playing football, but it's really about like wizards fighting orcs and shit.
I'd be totally down if they wanted to reboot Cyberball. That's the only way I'd probably be really interested.
Man, I couldn't even get into Cyberball. I tried. I had some of my friends, and they were just like totally into Cyberball. I couldn't do it. I'm like, even if it's like exploding balls and robots and everything, it was just like, you're not fooling me, Cyberball. This is football. Yeah. I see. I get it.
Well, one of the major problems, I mean, like, I know this doesn't apply to every single game, but, when we did the live stream over on one of us, we were playing FIFA, right? FIFA was actually really interesting to me because FIFA, you could play it without really knowing every single nuance of soccer. At least I can play against the computer because, one ball, you're passing, you got some interruptions and stuff like that. But like the last time that I legitimately sat down and tried to play a Madden game, I realized that Madden doesn't give a fuck about me. Madden doesn't want me to play Madden. Madden wants the person who played Madden every single year of their entire life to play Madden.
Yeah. Madden's like, oh, what? You didn't major in Madden in college?
Yeah.
Well, fuck you. Good luck in figuring out all of these menus.
Plus, I mean, this question comes up a lot. This is, I guess, maybe one of our throwback questions because we've talked about this before in the past, is that I just not super interested in sports. Like, I understand why people are. I find it really irritating when some people go out and scream at a bar at the top of their lungs because apparently you could do that for sports, but not for, when the Cosby Show is on and, Rudy learns a lesson. You can't just be like, yeah, what's up? But like the thing is that I would even in Call of Duty where you're just shooting people in the face, I'm just going to say this. I'd rather shoot somebody in the face than score a goal at sports ball. Okay?
Yeah, that's the thing. Sports doesn't have murder in it.
Yeah.
So there's the rub.
Yep, and
there's the rub.
I'm totally on record as being like, one of the reasons I love video games and play them so much is because I like them as a power fantasy. Sorry, but I just don't get that much of a power fantasy out of doing a really good play in a football game. I mean, maybe if they were just making games like NBA Jam and Blitz still, which were just completely ridiculous and more arcadey than anything. I mean, I guess there's some out there, but
yeah, those are actually pretty fun. I've played my fair share of NBA Jam, NBA Hang Time.
Yeah, I love Arch Rivals. I think Arch Rivals is so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Just punch a dude in the face, get your mohawk on and shit like that. But
yeah, and Blitz.
And it's even worth noting that if you go back and you watch, Jason, when you and I played NBA 2K14 or whatever it was, that eventually we got into it because it was a game and we wanted to win.
Yeah.
But
we had a great time doing something we were horrible at.
And then as soon as we were done, I kind of forgot all about it and never really wanted to play it again.
Right.
Because I'd much rather go into Skyrim and carve out my kingdom of, fire and destruction than like get that sweet 3-point shot in NBA 2K.
Amen.
So, all right. The next one comes in from Clayton S. Clayton S. says, "Dear Masters of the Red Lantern." I think that's appropriate. This question is for Jason, but I would like to hear everyone's answer. I am in the process of writing and drawing a comic. I have gotten down... I've gotten to all of the major plot points I want to hit so far, but I've run into a problem. I'm having trouble coming up with story arcs. I don't want every issue to be like a Saturday morning cartoon with the same basic beginning, middle, end every week. My question for you is, what advice do you have on avoiding the problem when I'm writing out my comic issues? Also, may I use your likeness in my comic? I want to have Rage Select as the biggest thing in their universe. Rage on Clayton S. I'm going to say yes, you can totally do that, Clayton S.
Yes, as long as I have a huge dong in your story, you can just use my likeness however much you want. There you go. Blanket authority right there.
All right. But
the trick is with any sort of serialized storytelling, whether it's television or comic books or what have you, you really need to have mini arcs and then your greater arc. So you have the arc, even if it's just a small, subtle one, within the episode or issue that you're telling, and all of that is aggregated becomes your greater arc, and it's more difficult than it sounds. It's really tricky, but yeah, you have to find just little changes to enact in the character in each episode or issue, and all of these little changes add up to the greater quote-unquote character arc at the end of your season or story arc in the comic. It's tough, and a lot of people say, well, you just write it. You just write it and, go with what happens, go with where the characters take you. I disagree with that completely. I think you have to plan and plot everything out. That doesn't mean there can't be surprises in there for you as a writer. but you really do need to know what you're doing, know where you're going. And sometimes while you're plotting it out, your characters may surprise you, but don't rely on that. Yeah.
Okay. I could tell you that the one time, there was one time where my friend and I were writing a D&D campaign, and what we found to be really, really super helpful was we made our world first. And we made our world in large, sweeping proclamations of writing the history of this world and where things happened and how they happened, and basically just creating the entire world from the ground up. And if you're doing a realistic thing, this might not be possible for you, but I feel like as much of that groundwork as you can lay in your mind, even if you're not writing any of it or getting it out, once you start setting individual stories, you will know what's going on in this area, what's going on over the entire world, what's going on here, and then it becomes a lot easier just to slot in that stuff into the story that you're writing instead of trying to start at the micro level and then blow back out. It's start way macro and then zoom into what you're looking at specifically.
Once you've set up all of the rules and the chemistry of your universe, whenever you inject a reagent, you will know and it will come to you how that equation will happen, how it will react.
Yep. So there you go, Clayton. Our next question. Okay, so Jason, this next question is from Ghost Actual, and I don't think that you and I are qualified to answer this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because this person is a bad motherfucker who sent us a question. Dear Jason, Jeff, and the ghost in Jeff's house. I don't know what that means. I don't have any ghosts. I wish I did. I come to you, the disciples of Dongacles, for advice. I've recently met a fork road at my life in which I have to make a choice with my future. My original path was to go the academic route, go into criminology, and ride that train until retirement. But recently I've started feeling like this road isn't as shiny and smooth as I thought it would be, and the area of criminal justice seems as bloated as it can get. So my backup option was the military. I'm currently in the National Guard as a combat engineer, explosives, route clearance, IED stuff. So the physical aspect is no problem for me. My biggest worry is with the current downsizing, this leaves me with very limited choices. Special Operations Air Force or Navy Mass Communication Specialist. Honestly, all three areas I've had an interest in since high school. I'm 20 years old, and I feel like if I make the wrong decision right now, I'll look back and never forgive myself. My dream is to end up a suave James Bond-esque player that is also super nerdy, loves video games, and cosplays as Nick Fury's Nick Fury cinematic version. Thanks for all the help. Sorry for the long email, Ghost Actual. So I read this email and I was like, I don't think that we're qualified to give this guy advice. Like, he's
we are totally qualified.
Are we? Okay,
we are completely qualified to be his Yoda, to be his Obi-Wan. Take that young little Padawan by the hand.
Wait,
and shepherd him through the darkness.
Can I go off on a tangent? I've been meaning to ask you something about Star Wars for a second, Jason.
Do it.
Okay. How the fuck did the Empire not like the Star Wars? A New Hope expects us to believe that the Empire was unable to see through the cunning guise of Obi-Wan Kenobi changing his first name. Like, they all know who Ben Kenobi is out there in the desert and shit. How is it that the Empire wasn't like, let's go see if this Ben Kenobi guy is that Obi-Wan guy that got away from us 20 years ago?
Well, it's not like they had total awareness. He was out in the middle of nowhere. That's why he was in the middle of the desert on Tatooine.
But he lived on Darth Vader's homeworld. Like, if they were trying to exterminate the Jedi, wouldn't Darth Vader, like, maybe, I don't know, go there? See if some.
No, he was hiding right out in the open.
Okay.
The last place Vader would check.
Okay. I don't know. It was just, I was thinking about it the other day. It kind of bugged me. All right, let's get back to Ghost Actual's question.
Ghost Actual, you're 20 years old. Mm-hmm. You have everything in front of you. And this isn't going to be the easy answer, but really it is do whatever the fuck you want to do, man. Mm-hmm. Whatever makes you the happiest, do it. Don't do it because you think, well, this one has the best long-term payoff, or this one has the most security, or this is what my parents expect of me. No, you do it because it makes you happy. So do that. If you want to be some suave James Bond motherfucker, make sure that being some suave James Bond motherfucker is what makes you happy. And so you focus on that. And I'm not one of those guys. Again, I'm not one of those guys who says, do what you want and the money will come, because that's bullshit.
It is.
That is a stupid, naive Pollyanna piece of bullshit.
Yep.
No, you do have to think about providing sustenance for yourself, but find the way that you can provide sustenance for yourself that makes you the most happy, and only you can answer that for yourself.
Yeah, I also feel like, I mean, just reading your email, Ghost Actual, it seems like you have, like, okay, if you're the sort of person who can either, who feels like they are qualified to go into academics to be a criminologist, or as a combat engineer, which you already are, or, Special Operations Air Force or Navy Mass Communication. I mean, it sounds like you are a proficient-ass person. Like, you are not one of these people that's weighed down with, like, well, I don't know if I could be a hockey player. I always wanted to, but, you sound like you're 20 and you've already got, like, a pretty goddamn good handle on things. So I'm just going to double down on Jason's answer and go with, like, do these things and see what I don't know. Can you go, like, do an unpaid internship with the U.S. military and their special operations? Can you be like, I want to be a Navy SEAL. I want to try out Navy SEAL training for a week, but I don't know if I really want to do it. I don't think either you or I are in any sort of physical shape to do that. Yeah,
we would be ringing that bell within, like, I want to say no more than 5 minutes.
I think it depends on how drunk we are when we go to training, because I don't know about you, Jason, but I get into this one mindset where if you put about 4 beers in me and you start telling me all the shit that I can't do, I'll hurt myself to do that shit. Like,
yeah, you get all stupid and stubborn.
Yeah, I do.
Like that. Somebody starts telling me you can't do this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Why don't you top me off and I'll just go over here and drink some more.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Ghost Actual. Figure out which one of these seems like it's coolest.
You need to focus on whatever makes you happy that doesn't involve hurting other people.
I don't know. As somebody in the National Guard, you got a greater than normal chance of hurting other people.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good point. Okay.
But hey, maybe that's what makes you happy.
Focus on what makes you happy. Focus on what makes you happy, and still being able to justify to yourself that I am a good person.
What's a Navy mass communication specialist? Is that like the guy who gets the bullhorn and screams at new recruits, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's totally what it is.
Does the Navy have like a specific medal for, like, you're the guy who forwards the lolcats around the office? Like, you have to choose.
No, he figured out how to use reply to all.
Oh, okay. He knows the difference between. He spent 6 months learning the difference between BCC and reply to all
and CC. Yep. Good job, Ghost Actual.
Seriously,
good job.
As a second tangent, if you're listening to this show and you don't know how to use CC and BCC, you need to go get that shit.
You need to figure that shit out.
Get that shit under control. All right.
Right now.
Yeah. All right. Next one comes in from Jason. Jason says, hey guys, I'm still loving all the Rage Select content and love listening to the podcast every week. This time I've got a question mostly for Jeff. I finished reading the first Dune book, and while a lot of it interested me, I was really put off by Paul essentially being a flawless character who is immediately good at everything he decides to do. It reminds me of years ago when I was reading the Vampire Hunter D novel series and how none of the villains ever came close to being able to challenge D. I think having a character who is too powerful and too perfect removes a lot of the tension and drama from a story and ends up making it largely boring. Because of this, I've been hesitant to pick up the next book in the series. Since you're such a big fan, I was hoping you could tell me where the trend of Paul being the unbeatable badass continues, or if someone comes along who can give him a run for his money. Any info you can give me would tell me whether or not I should continue reading the series based on those hangups would be appreciated. Thanks, Jason.
Okay, you answer this fucking nerd question. I'm going to go get more whiskey.
Okay. All right, Jason. Here's the deal. The Dune books really are less about that particular thing, about the person versus person conflict, like whether, like, oh my God, Paul is gonna get shot, or he's gonna have a fight, and he may or may not lose. It's more about these overarching concepts of the systems of the universe that Frank Herbert has set up in this book. Like, it's more of a sociological kind of book, and it's more of this kind of like large systems rubbing up against each other type of thing between the it's funny you say this, because I actually just finished rereading Dune and went on to Heretic's Dune Messiah. Yeah, Dune Messiah. So I think that if that's what you're looking for in the book, this may not be the series for you. I will say that Dune Messiah is actually probably it's still a great book, but it's probably my least favorite of the books, because it does almost do what you're talking about, where there's a lot of, I don't know how to describe this super well. It's more about this sociological, anthropological identity of the universe and these schemes and the various factions in it than it is of like a specific threat on the person of the main character. The whole series is like that. It's more about factions than it is about specific characters and whether they're going to live or die or do whatever. I actually do feel that Paul in the books also has, that there are plenty of times where he's in peril, and he manages to come out the other side. I mean, no less so than I think a lot of other books were.
I feel like I need to read Dune. I really do.
I mean, like, did you see any of the movies? Did you see the David Lynch one? Or
I saw the David Lynch one. Yeah.
I mean, did it seem at all interesting to you?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say yes.
The book is. I mean, the thing about the Dune books that I feel makes it a series that's almost impossible to make into a movie is so much of that story is in people's heads. It's just shit. The internal monologue of characters. A character looks at a cactus, right? And there's 12 pages worth of what that means and going into all this stuff inside of their head. And that's incredibly difficult to translate into an actual movie. It's one of the reasons I thought that Jodorowsky's Dune, that dude was just like, yeah, I skimmed this book, but fuck it, I'm just going to rewrite it the way that I want to see it. I'm like, that, in all honesty, kind of appeals to me. But yeah.
I think I know enough about Dune to make the latest movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I tell you, Dune is weird, man. Like, the first 3 books, you got regular old Dune, you got Dune Messiah, that's probably the darkest and least liked chapter of that original series, and then you got Children of Dune. Then you have God Emperor of Dune, and at that point, the wheels just come flying off the Dune car, and the whole thing launches into space, and just like, there is some crazy shit going on. And from there, it just keeps getting more and more bizarre until it finally just ends.
All right, here's a pitch.
All right.
Doonesbury.
Okay. Right.
That's all I have.
Is that it?
You're just gonna have to deal with it. That's all I have right now.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a hybrid of the political space drama,
right,
and the politically minded comic strip.
Yep.
I think we could be onto something here.
Okay, I think so.
Doonesbury.
Okay. I don't believe that Doonesbury is still a thing, that it's published every day.
I don't fucking know, because I don't read comic strips. They canceled once Calvin and Hobbes wrapped up. I was like, okay, newspapers are done.
Yep.
That's a thing that's over.
Shit, man. When Far Side wasn't around anymore, I was just like, well, okay, we'll stick with Calvin and Hobbes for a little bit. But yeah. But anyway, the answer to your question, Jason, is if that shit really just turned you off and you didn't get anything out of it outside of just the personal threats to Paul's life, then maybe this isn't the series for you, because a lot of Frank Herbert books are more like, and I don't want this to sound like I'm trying to say like, oh, they're super brainy, I'm sorry you didn't get it, but like, they deal more with this upper tier empire and people as a concept kind of shit than they do about like, and then they stabbed at him with a knife and it just missed him, but it cut his nipple off. Ow, my nipple. It's less about personal danger and it's more about these giant webs and
it's a little more Game of Thrones than the Dark Elf trilogy. It's what you're saying.
Yeah, except that I think that fewer people die in Dune. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
How much doggy style is there in Dune? Because there's a lot in Game of Thrones.
Let's see. I don't think. Nope. I think you got to get to like book 4 before you get some real hot action. Is a lot of it's all just just bullshit.
Is there doggy style in book 4?
There's some weirdo style in book 4. It's
a
little crazy.
Okay.
A little crazy.
Shit. Now I got to read at least 4 of them.
All right, so we got the next one is coming in to us from the comedic narrator. We may have already talked about this, but I thought that it was worth talking about again. This one says, "Hello, Jeff and Jason. It's my birthday this Friday, and I'm getting an Xbox now that Kinect is no longer in the box, meaning I don't have to waste money on a product I'm 99% sure that I will never use. Unfortunately, games that I want to play don't come out until later this year or 2015. Arkham, Mass Effect, Far Cry 4. Which Xbox Live titles would you recommend I play in the time before these releases?" So we can answer that one. That was why I picked this question. But then I'm sure we talked about this, Jason, but I wanted to see if your feelings have changed at all. Second, he says, "What are your opinions on Sam Wilson taking over the Captain America mantle, at least for a little while? I like the concept because I liked Bucky as Cap. I just don't think Rick Remender is the best or most sensitive writer to do this hobo piss."
I think it'll be okay. Wait. We got 2 different questions here.
Yeah, his writing is a mixed bag in my opinion, and his run of Cap has been mostly quite bad. I think he may be a bit heavy-handed on some of the issues of things like race that could be raised. If it is badly received, I can only imagine his reaction. Again, hobo piss. The prospect of a bad comic is bad enough, but Cap continuing to be struck with an awful title is infuriating. Wait, continuing to be stuck with an awful title is infuriating. Thank you. Sorry for the long questions, the comedic narrator. So let's start with the first one.
Thank you for your ADD question, comedic narrator. Hey, what do you think about what's going on in Gaza with the Palestinians and the Israelis? And, oh my God, though, Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Okay, what was his first question? I don't fucking remember.
Xbox One games.
Destiny.
Well, no, ones that are out right now that he can slick his thirst with before the new stuff starts coming out.
Oh, you're shit out of luck, buddy.
That's not entirely true. Let's see.
It's mostly true.
Let me get to where we are right now. All right. Down the list, let's see. Guacamelee Super Turbo Champion Edition is really good if you didn't play Guacamelee. Valiant Hearts. Outlast. Watch Dogs. Oh, no.
Boring.
Wolfenstein: The New Order.
That's good. That's good. That's a good one.
Super Time Force. Right now, Strike Suit Zero is free for gold members. Let's see. Titanfall. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is nothing to sniff at. It's a decent enough game. Max Curse of Brotherhood seems like it's kind of interesting. And Killer Instinct is good. Peggle 2? What? I don't know.
So
there's some good
basically
stuff
what Jeff is saying is there's no reason to have an Xbox One right now.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I'm sorry. I meant me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
There's no reason to have an Xbox One right now.
Well, what have you...
Not until, like, November.
What have you played on the PS4 so far that's been super great?
Destiny was a lot of fun.
Okay. That comes out next
Wolfenstein.
month, so, I mean, we can definitely put that on the list.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Destiny is... I don't want to say it's a console seller, but it might be a console seller.
Okay.
And I played through, Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
It's just as good on the previous gen. Played a bunch of Watch Dogs, which is fucking boring. Watch Dogs is definitely not worth it. Played some Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it is.
I liked Wolfenstein a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Right now, just like at this very moment of this recording, I cannot justify buying an Xbox One. Now, when Destiny comes out, sure, I can't fault you from that. But Destiny, while it's not like the groundbreaking miracle gonna clear up the weird spots on my dick magical cure, it is a lot of fun. It's cool.
Oh, okay, here's what I'll say. I mean, it guy sounds like he's set on buying an Xbox One anyhow.
Yeah,
so
right,
like
right.
the Dead Rising 3, definitely. I forgot to say that before. Okay,
It was okay.
Look, you didn't even play it all the way through. You played it like
I played enough.
Did you even play it when we recorded our dojo for it?
I watched you play it. I played it through osmosis. Fuck you. What are you, a cop?
You got to tell me if you're a cop. Yeah, I'd say Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct. If you haven't played Assassin's Creed 4, it looks really fantastic.
Fuck Killer Instinct.
Yeah, well, don't be salty. That's just because I did the tutorial.
Oh, I'm sorry. Farg Killer Instinct. What? You don't like my language now,
No,
Jeff?
No, I'm saying Killer Instinct is a great game. It's just you got a bad taste in your mouth because I did the tutorial before we started playing.
Because I suck at fighting games.
Right.
Let's just put it out there. Fine. Let's just point out more of my shortcomings. I have gray hair. Fine.
Oh, I feel so bad for you over there on Hala with all of your going to Guardians of the Galaxy with the dude what was in Last of Us or whatever.
He did the sound design, and he promptly made fun of me for sucking so bad on Greg Grunberg's Twitch stream. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Sucking
Whatever.
on what? The Last of Us? Like Last of Us Remastered?
No, sucking Mario Kart.
Oh, no, Jason.
Dude, it was, yeah. Brian handed me my ass on Mario Kart.
What? Are you?
It was bad. It was embarrassing.
Are you secretly trading behind the dumpster behind the Taco Bell or something?
I think I might have just lost my mojo, or you know what? No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. Okay,
He's a cheater.
I was trying to be funny while doing a Let's Play, and so my skills. That's who cares.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make jokes. And yeah, wait. When is this podcast going up?
Sunday.
Sunday? It'll be too late. Okay. So yesterday, Brian and I were on Greg Grunberg's live stream, his live 36-hour Mario themed podcast.
Okay.
And I sucked on that too. I'm gonna prognosticate. I sucked on that as well.
You need to find.
But I was funny as fuck.
Okay.
But I sucked at the video game.
You need to, when you come back, I'm just going to give you Mario Kart. You can just take it and become the master of Mario Kart.
You know what? I'm good at Mario Kart when I'm not making jokes.
Are you? You just have to concentrate?
Yeah, it's like, I borrowed your Wii U before I left for space.
Yep.
And Alice and I were playing it quite a bit, and it was just kind of like, okay, Jason's okay at this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then after a couple of games, I got the groove back, and it was just like, shit, man, I'm HNIC.
Okay. Wait, what? Okay, I don't want to know.
Yeah, you don't want. You don't want to know.
All right, we got a few more questions. This next one comes in from Brian. Brian says, "This is another throwback question this week, Jason. Do you ever think consoles will become like Blu-ray or DVD players, where you'd have one universal standard for what a console is, which would allow companies like Panasonic, Samsung, and many others to create consoles without the need for exclusive content? We practically already have a universal gaming control by Jeff's standards." I don't know what that means. I mean, all gaming control devices have two analog sticks and the shoulder buttons and stuff. That's from Brian. No, Brian, because they like money.
I see what he's getting at in that you got a Blu-ray player, you have a Blu-ray player.
Sure.
But the distribution model is such that we don't have video games being introduced in a different media, i.e. like a theater, and then translated into a console. We used to. Theaters were to arcades what DVD or VHS was to consoles.
Sure.
But that's not the case anymore because theaters are still around. Arcades are pretty much dead, unfortunately. Moment of silence. Okay, we're done. We're moving on.
I mean, I think that the major problem here comes in the fact that, well, first off, there is an incredibly large financial incentive for Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo to continue having their closed platform system where they get the money from the sales.
Sure.
So
yeah, it is not a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
With what's going on with movies.
It sort of is in the PC world, right?
Oh, sure.
A bunch of companies all make PCs. Samsung makes PCs. Or, well, no, they don't. No, they don't. They make monitors and shit. But, like, there's a whole bunch of different companies that all make PCs, and then those PCs are able to play the Steam games that you download. So that, yes. But as far as those specific consoles, the entire reason they exist is so that those companies can have those exclusives in order to make people buy their console and not the other person's console. And you could sure as fuck bet that after the head start that Sony's gotten with the PS4, that Microsoft ain't gonna just be like, you know what, we're done. I mean, I think you would probably be, what you'd have to see is you'd have to see the bottom drop out of the console market so hard that everything just went to be on the PC. Is that Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo all basically decided, like, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to put out PC games from now on. You guys can just figure out your own shit because we're tired of putting the money into dev costs for hardware. But they aren't going to do that because they're still making a lot of money on that.
Right.
So until we all stop buying consoles, which, doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon, that's not going to happen. Also, it's worth noting that, Blu-rays and DVDs all have the exact same format. Games are programmed in different languages and optimized differently. Some are created for, they have a different language. They're not all programmed exactly the same way. I mean, they all kind of output the same way. But, you look at Blu-rays and I'm sure that there are some subtle differences in the coding and how they're mastered and things like that. But at the end of the day, what the Blu-ray is outputting to your TV is pretty much the exact same thing for every one of these. Right. Whereas on the consoles, like you have games that don't use all the buttons or games that use specifically different types of input and stuff like that. It's very different for each one of them. So there's not really, you'd have to get a whole bunch of people who are really interested in making in being separated from each other to all come together, like hippie style or whatever. I think that as far as universal gaming control, I don't know why he worded that last way the way he worded it, Jason.
Yeah, I don't even know what language is that.
We practically already have a universal gaming control by Jeff's standards. I mean, I like the fact that I can plug my Xbox controller into anything and it works because
yeah, I mean, I think universal control standards. I think that's a great idea.
I think it's important because, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, how much thought and development time is built into? Well, let's map this action to this button and this action to this button. Well, let's just standardize it. What does it fucking matter? It's like, let's keep everyone on the same page as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I love it because outside of games that are trying to do something different, if you put me in front of a first-person shooter, I can be reasonably assured what button does what without going through an explanation. I don't have to relearn every FPS that I play because they all have a relatively similar control schema or third person or, at least like the 2 or 3 major types of games that are out there. Each one of them has a, they generally tend to adhere to this one type of control schema so that, and I think that's great because I remember the days when you got that card. You remember the big card that you got with your PC game, Jason?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
That told you what every fucking button on the keyboard did?
Yeah, you had to lay it over your keyboard, and it would tell you, okay, it's not A anymore, it's fire. And it's not S anymore, it's reload.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 more, and these are both very short questions. One of them appears to be a bit of a joke, and the other one is serious business. So I'm going to go with the joke one first. So it comes in from our friend Vina Schnitzel, who says, "Greetings, Jeff and Jason. So a week ago, there was an outrage where I live, in Switzerland, about a secretary working for the parliament taking naked pictures of herself and putting them on Twitter. Can you put?
Oh, I saw that. She had nice tits.
It turns out some of those pictures were taken at her workplace, so basically our equivalent of the White House. Obviously, she got fired because of this. My question is, assuming you were in need of a secretary and she would apply, would you give her a chance? Even well knowing she couldn't resist her exhibitionistic urges on her new workplace. Best wishes, Wiener Schnitzel. Is this question serious? I mean, like...
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I would hire her in a heartbeat, and I would say, listen, you were the new Rage Select secretary. You need to take selfies of your nice Swedish tits in the office. By the way, your office is at Jeff's house.
Right.
And if Jeff is around, then you are obligated to take pictures of boobs because, you know what? Jeff needs some titties in his life.
I really do. I really do.
Jeff needs some titties. So let's reach out to her and say, hey, you like video games? You know what? Whatever. Doesn't fucking matter. You need to go upload and edit videos and audio podcasts. And, once a day, maybe whip them out. While Jeff is trying to play Dark Souls 2 or whatever. Because everybody wins. Everybody wins. So, to answer your question, yes. Yes, we would hire her.
I'm kind of surprised. I wouldn't think of, I guess, you saw these pictures. I haven't seen the pictures, Jason. Were they she's just doing... I'm trying to figure out what the motivation here was.
They were. It was
hanging out, having fun. Take my shirt off, woo! But then, I don't understand. That
pretty much
put that on Twitter. Like, did she think nobody would see them, or?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Is you put naked pics out there into the ether.
Yeah,
you got to think somebody's going to see them.
Yeah.
And maybe that somebody is the wrong person. And when you're doing those at work and uploading those at work, well, that's just a stupid idea. But what we at Rage Select offer you is a nude selfie-friendly environment. If you want to come work for RageSelect.com and show pictures of your tits, taking them even in the office while you're doing something, maybe you're editing this very podcast. Maybe you're doing that. Maybe you're editing this podcast and you're like, you know what? While I'm editing this, I want to just take a picture of my left boob and post it online. Jeff's totally okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to fire you for taking taking pictures of your boobs and putting them online.
Yeah, he's a very progressive employer.
I'll tell you this.
Go for it.
I'm pretty pro nudity. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that America is really fucking hung up on who's got their clothes on and who's got their clothes off, and I think it's kind of stupid personally. But
yeah, so come get naked at the Rage Select Studios.
Lady whose name we don't even know.
Yeah, not just her.
Right.
But whoever, if you want to drag your balls along the Rage Select couch.
No, that's not what I said.
No,
I didn't say I was pro drag your balls around. I said I was pro nudity, and I didn't even necessarily say I was pro nudity in my own house. I get to decide when you're in my house who gets to take the clothes off and who doesn't.
Jeff will be standing there at the front door, and when you knock on said door, he will look at you and go,
"Yep,
yes, you can be naked," or
"Nope,
no, keep your clothes on."
That's right. All right, and we have one more incredibly serious question, Jason, to go over before we're done here.
We have one more incredibly serious question.
Yes. This is from Tony, and Tony has...
Oh, Tony, I'm sorry you're going to have to wait.
What?
Tony's question...
Okay.
...does not match my current needs, because it turns out that no amount of gaff tape protects me from the lack of oxygen in the vacuum of space.
It took you like an hour and a half to figure that out. I figure it'd take you about 2 seconds.
I'm a very thorough worker.
Okay.
He's resilient.
Okay.
My question to you is...
Okay.
How did I just fuck up Audacity?
Did you just fuck up Audacity and lose the entire recording?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is answered. Thank you, gentlemen. You may notice I am slightly have changed. I've been hardened by the curse that's put upon me.
This is your roommate, Jason. I don't have to, I get to hang up at the end of this call.
No, he's sitting here in a t-shirt and his underwear.
Okay.
Yeah, you're lucky you have the underwear.
Hey,
Boxer briefs.
Brian.
Boxer briefs.
We have just established that I am apparently the arbiter of nudity for Rage Select. So feel free, sitting by Jason to, just do whatever you want, whatever you feel like.
Hey, fuck you, Jeff.
Is that an encouragement? That's a violation of.
No.
That's a violation of our covenant, Batom. See that?
Oh, no.
That's just I haven't worked out in a while, but when I jiggle this, it looks.
Is he putting his butt in your face, Jason?
No, he got his. I've got a testicle snail trail on my forearm.
Oh, goddamn.
I may have had some sex while we're. What system are we in?
Holla.
Here are the Holla system.
The Cree system.
Yeah, the Cree. I got my Cree. You know what?
You got your Cree on?
Here's the thing: is you don't go down and say I'm gonna give me a scree on all them Cree. Turns out that is an invitation to gang rape. Don't shout, I want to put my scree on y'all Cree, because that means the next 12 hours are occupied.
Brian, are you going full on McConaughey on my podcast? Is that what you're doing right now?
If by you mean creating award-winning awesome excitement, then yes.
Okay.
Because we wrote this 3 times. It's to your dad, to you, and to the version of you we're going to meet in the future.
Rage Select is a flat circle.
I feel like
it's all circle.
This is what's going
Calm
to get
down.
us to the podcast awards is the last 10 minutes of the podcast from whatever month we are, wherever we are in space and time. But, okay, Brian, Tony has a question, and this is serious business, all right?
I'll give it my fullest attention.
Cheesy Gordita Crunch or Chalupa?
I mean, I think we both know that each of these are metaphors for our favorite science fiction franchises, right?
Okay.
I was talking to Jason the other day, and the Cheesy Gordita Crunch, to us, that was clearly the Fantastic Four, right?
Oh, yeah. Rise of the Silver Surfer?
Yeah.
That's when you put extra hot sauce.
It was cheesy and granted, but you got the gordita with the thing popping things
And
the
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, no. How did his career turn out? And what's the other one?
Chalupa.
That's,
Punisher.
Chalupa's Punisher. You know what? I'm going to say like this sad version. I'm going to say Scott Pilgrim. I feel like that Chalupa is just Scott Pilgrim.
You haven't even seen Scott Pilgrim.
I turned it on. I fell asleep during it.
It's amazing. You haven't even...
Wait.
Go to bed. Christ. Seriously?
Okay, do you like chalupas or do you not?
I like chalupas.
So you should be down with this metaphor.
Stop with your fucking weird logic tricks. No.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to solve a math problem.
Scott Pilgrim is a brilliant movie.
I agree.
Is he doing a magic trick?
You haven't seen it.
I don't have to see it to agree. You said it.
I like chalupas, so I know Scott Pilgrim is brilliant.
I like chalupa. Come on, man. Okay, so, can we end this so we could do like our follow-up podcast where all of us are like high on peyote?
Yeah,
because I paid a lot for this peyote.
Next time, I'm going to be like at least 4 times drunker than I am right now, which is 0 drunkers.
I'm very drunk.
Yeah.
And did you take an Ambien?
I might have gone upstairs and decided it was time for bed. And
you took an Ambien,
and I may have taken an Ambien.
Wait, is this Ambien high, bro? God.
And then I heard you guys, and I was like, I should join that. Now here I am. So if you want to know,
Jason, is this Ambien zombie Brian? Is he?
Oh, this is Ambien zombie Brian.
Right, I was fucking killed and attacked by other Ambien zombies, and now I've been turned into one of them. So,
give us a little bit of enlightenment.
I'll tell you what. Ask me questions, and I will tell you.
Rapid
fire. I have to rap the answers.
You have to rap the answers.
He will fucking rap.
All right,
okay. Jason. This is
from this point forward.
Okay.
My answers all come in rhymes. Y'all's better ask me better fucking questions.
times.
Jeff, do it.
I have nothing prepared. Brian,
Swear to God, dude, you're
All
about
right.
to get rap gold.
Brian, what's your favorite Marvel movie?
My favorite Marvel movie is the one where I made you duty, and I threw it in your face, and I told you get out of my place. I think it was Daredevil.
What's your favorite thing to order at Jim's?
When I got to the order and I end up at Jim's, I realized this is not a restaurant I'm in. I look around, people getting fucking pumped on the tanks, and then I realize I'm in an actual gym.
Brian Brushwood, who is the greatest Batman of all time?
There's only 3 Batmen in the history of Batmen. There's the one and the other and the fat and the thin. At the end of the day, only one matters. Fuck DC. It's Marvel. Y'all fatters.
Shit, you just threw down the gauntlet.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God!
You did.
Wow. Great, Brian
Fucking
Brushwood.
give me. You know what?
What's that?
When you come back to me with Two-Face,
Yeah.
only she's half fat and half super hot skinny, then I'll be engaged.
What?
I'm just saying. There was an Ultimates reboot on fucking the Marvel side of things. Let's rethink everything on the DC side.
Lady Two-Face on one side is super fat and gross, and the other side is like a porn star supermodel.
Or maybe all of it's fat, but just one has had some work done. I don't write this shit. I just put duct tape over it.
All right, how about this? He just fell on the floor.
Did he really?
Fine, I'm fine.
He just fell. Okay, he's good. He's good.
You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna give the wrap up, and we might edit out a lot of what we just did there. All right, and so if you have questions, send them in to mail@rageselect.com. That email address again is mail@rageselect.com. Send us your questions, and we will answer them. We will give you the best advice. Just don't listen to it. Jason, do you have any clue where your space travels will be taking you and Mr. Brushwood next week?
You know what? Ground control to Major Tom. We might be I'm thinking that we're going to seek out the leather goddesses of Phobos.
Oh shit!
I think that's what we're going for.
Okay.
We're going to old school. I think so.
All right.